right, guys, we're gonna go over how to use this RV. First of all, here's your electric tongue jack. This is really nice. It'll automatically come up and down, and then on this button, and then this button right here has a little docking light at night if you're hooking up. You do have your 2 propane tanks here. There is an arrow inside there that points towards one tank or the other, so just make sure that arrow is pointed at whichever tank you're using. Also, make sure you open up your propane tank slowly. That way, there's a little check valve in there that doesn't pop up, and it'll stop the flow. So just be aware, open up your tank slowly and make sure it's pointed at the right tank you're using. Hopefully you don't need to get into it, but the battery box is located right behind there. You do have a large storage area right here. This is where you'll find some gear, water hose, sewer hose, all that kind of stuff is going to be in here. Each corner does have a stabilizer jack, and there is a hand crank in here. You would just manually crank those down. They're just stabilizers. They don't level the RV or anything like that. It just makes it more less wobbly when you're walking inside and things like that. Just make sure before leaving your campground, you raise those up. You do not want to drive away with those down. That'll damage all of them, then they'll all need to be replaced. So that could be a costly error, so just be careful of that. You do have a large awning here. This comes out, it's electric. It does not automatically close or anything like that. Just remember, any wind, rain, anything like that at all, you want to make sure this guy's closed up. These arms are just made out of aluminum and they can bend or break pretty easily. So any strong wind or anything like that, it's going to break it. So just be careful. They do cost about $2,000 to replace. So just make sure, we recommend if you're literally not sitting underneath it, have it closed. Don't go to bed, leave it out, that kind of thing. Just close it anytime you're not sitting underneath it. Now we're going to talk about the door and the entryway here. So to get inside, you're going to lift this guy up and twist it just like that. It locks it into place. Now, we're going to talk about the door handle. Now, you're going to have a key for this. Now, there's seals along this door. Now, sometimes people have problems opening the door. What you want to recognize is that you need to push the door closed right here, put your key in and turn the key, and then you can easily open the door. The trick is to put some pressure on the door. That way the seal's not pushing back on you. You should never have to struggle to turn a key or anything like that. So just be aware of that. Now you're going to open this all the way up 180 degrees and you're going to see your stairs here. Now to operate these stairs, there's a lever right here. You're going to pull this and then you're going to swing the stairs down. There's another really nice feature on this, and I'm going to show you that now. Once you pull this, each leg is independently adjustable. See all these notches right here? You're going to push this button in and you can actually control the height of each leg individually. Now the reason why that's important is once this swings down, if you're not on level ground, you can make your stairs level. Also, right here at the door jamb, if this isn't level and one side is up a little too high like this, you cannot close the door properly. It'll come around, it'll hit the door, it'll actually damage the door frame if you try to close the door and that's not completely level there. So just be careful with that. Now, to close it up, you just do the same thing, but you go the opposite direction. You're just gonna lift this up, swing it all the way around, pull the lever, it locks it in just like that, and then you can go ahead and close your door. Once again, you're gonna push right here on this area. That locks it in. And then we recommend you always cover the door with this. That way, if it pops open on you while you're driving or something like that, this will keep it locked in place. There is a little storage area here. You do have some outlets here. Just remember any outlets and things like that, you're gonna need a generator running to use or plugged into shore power. We're gonna talk about the rear door here. This one's a little bit different. This is really nice because it gives you quick access to the bathrooms. Say you're on the road, you can jump in here. Super nice for kids and things like that. These are different stairs. To operate these, you just lift up and then pull them out and then they fold down. Same thing on this door. Just push right here, turn your key, push and pull the handle, and there you go. Same thing when you lock it, push it down, locks in, and you're good to go. Now we're gonna talk about the back side here. Hopefully you never need it, but there is a spare tire. If you need that, that's located here. Just remember, trailers don't have tires. Jacks for changing tires. You'd use your vehicle jack to change an RV trailer tire. All right, we're gonna come around and talk about the business side of this RV. Once again, you have a storage area here. Now, we're gonna talk about dumping. There are 2 pull valves and a sewer hose. So the sewer hose in the compartment up there. You're gonna hook your sewer hose on here, and then there's a black handle and a gray handle. The black handle is for sewer. That you're gonna pull that first, it kind of drains out that. And then you're going to pull the gray valve right there, and that's kind of like the dirty shower water and stuff like that. It's gonna flush out and clean out your hose. Perfect, we're gonna move on to power, your power source. So right here is where you would plug into your generator or shore power at the park. Now, if you're plugged in at the park and there is no power coming into the RV, we always recommend you double check the breaker at the power pedestal. Oftentimes, people or the park will shut off the breaker after somebody leaves. So just double check that 99% of the time, that's the problem. Then just remember, none of the major appliances are gonna work without power too. So you'll either need to be plugged into an RV or running a generator. I'm sorry, RV park or running a generator. You do have right here your water fill for your water tank. All you do is you're gonna unscrew the cap, you're gonna put your garden hose in here, and then you can watch the levels fill inside, and then you'll shut off your water. Now this is the City Water Connect. Now we do not recommend you use the City Water Connect. There is plumbing in an RV, but it is not like the plumbing in your house. The plumbing in an RV are just fittings, and they're kind of just pushed together and nothing really holding tight or fully water sealed. So a lot of times if you have a little too much pressure from the place you're hooked into, you're gonna get some leaks inside the RV. So like I said, we always recommend you just fill up the water tank and then turn on the water pump. That's gonna be the correct pressure. You shouldn't have any leaks like that. But anytime you're not using water, you need to make sure it's shut off. Same thing if you did decide to use the park water. Anytime you're not using it, you need to walk out, turn off the spigot. What you don't want to do is go hiking for the day and left that spigot on, and you come back and one of those fittings popped loose, and now you come back to 2 or 3 inches of water inside the RV. That's never good. So like I said, anytime you're not using the water, go ahead and make sure it's shut off. Now this has a large slide out. It comes out about 3 feet. Just remember, anytime you're operating the slide out, make sure nobody's sitting on it or there's nothing in the way, and make sure on the outside there's no trees or branches or anything like that next to the RV. Also, another thing we want you to be aware of is make sure anytime you're maneuvering at your campground, you have about 10 feet of room on each side of the RV. You don't want to get tree branches scraping up that you don't see or anything like that. Those can be costly to buff out, and sometimes they actually damage the paint and it needs to be repainted. So just be really careful with that. And then lastly, we're going to talk about the last stabilizer right here. Remember, every corner has one of those. Make sure those are up out of the way before traveling away. And then you have your hot water heater exhaust right here. Just make sure it says hot right here. Make sure you don't lean anything on this or anything like that. You don't want to get burned or burn some gear that you leaned against it or something like that. Perfect. We're going to head on inside and I'm going to show you how to use the rest of this RV. Let's go. All right, guys, we're going to go over how to use this RV. First of all, the brains of the system are right here. On the top level, you have your tank levels and your battery levels. You'd push these little buttons in, and these right here would light up depending on where you're at. Just remember, these are guides. Oftentimes, especially the black and gray water, misread. They're not completely accurate, so just be aware of that. The fresh water is pretty good, and battery levels are usually pretty good. We're going to talk about these buttons here. You really don't need to worry about the tank heaters or anything like that, but you do have your interior lights here. You have your water pump button. You also have some exterior lighting, like your awning lights and front door light. Right here, you have your slide control. That's where that'll control the slide to come in or out. Just remember, please don't have anybody sitting in the slide or standing on it or anything when you're operating the slide out, and also make sure that it is clear on the outside and inside of the RV when operating that. We're going to talk about the awning. This is the awning control right here. That's how you send it out and back in. Just remember, any wind, rain, anything like that, just make sure you have that guy closed up. You don't want to damage an awning. They are pretty expensive to replace. All right, now we're going to move on to the bedroom. This is a really nice bedroom in here. It's a little private area. You do have a couple night lights for reading and things like that. You have some outlets with some USB outlets there and a standard outlet. But what's really nice is right here, there is actually an outlet that runs off the 12-volt battery. There is a little button you push to turn it on, and then say you had a CPAP machine or something like that, you could operate it through there. Now these doors are sliding doors. Just make sure that they are buckled when you're transporting the RV or moving it. You don't want these doors, they can swing. So you want to make sure those are locked in anytime you're traveling. You don't want to damage a door because you didn't lock it down. As you come in, we're going to talk about the fireplace here. This is really nice. This is an electric fireplace. This will run if you have a generator running or plugged in at an RV park. It's just a nice space heater. It also has gas heat, but that's a nice option if you're plugged in out of a park, so you don't have to waste any gas. You do have a large sleeping dinette here that turns into a sleeping area. Now how this works is you would just remove the tabletop by lifting it up. You have 2 poles. You would remove each pole, and then this table actually drops down and fits right into these grooves right there. And then what you do after that is you grab the 2 back cushions and you put it right on top of the table, and this creates a large sleeping area. Now this is nice. An adult can easily sleep here. You could get probably 2 kids in here as well. Maybe a teenager and a small kid too if you had to, but there's lots of sleeping in this RV. You guys are gonna love it. You do have a nice countertop area here along with a sink. We're gonna talk about the stovetop now. Now this is not a glass cooktop stovetop. This is actually a gas stovetop. So what you do to operate this is you're actually gonna lift this up. It folds in half, And now this becomes your backsplash for cooking. You would go ahead and light your burners and you can cook your food. And then when you're done, you'll turn off the burners, let it cool down first, and then you can go ahead and close this back down. Now, once again, this is not a glass cooktop. Make sure when you're done cooking, you let it cool, then you can set this down. Do not light the burners and then close this glass with the burners going. We have had a couple people do that in the past. The second they put a pan on there, the whole glass shatters everywhere. It's not a glass cooktop, so just be very careful and aware of that. You do have a microwave here that's going to run if you have, just remember, any major appliance, air conditioner, microwave, all that stuff needs shore power from the park or running a generator to operate that item and the air conditioner. Now we're going to talk about the the control panel. Like a breaker box. So like your house would have breakers, so does an RV. This is where that's located. So if you're having some electrical issues or something, it's always the first place you would check is just make sure you didn't trip a breaker. And then next to that is a red switch. Now, this is actually the battery disconnect switch. So say you're camping and then all of a sudden you have no power in the RV. We always recommend you check right there first. A lot of times some kids think that's really neat and they'll turn the key and it'll actually turn off all the power in the RV. So just make sure that that's in the vertical position. That way you know that the battery's connected and you're running that. Now we're going to talk about the heating and cooling system. Now right here is your thermostat. There is a power button right there. To work this, you're going to hit the power button first, and then if you hit it again, it's actually going to cycle through the modes. And then there'll be your fan mode, your air conditioner, and your heater, and then an off. To control temperature, once you've set that, is these up and down arrows let you actually set the temperature, then it'll kick on automatically when it needs that temperature, and it'll stop when it reaches that temperature. You do have a nice sleeping area, 2 bunks here that are quite large. Now to access the top bunk, they've put here a nice stair that's built in. To operate this, you just kind of lift up, you slide it out, and it just goes like that. It's all connected and attached, which is very nice. And then before you travel or leave, you'll go ahead and lift that up, put it back into that position, and you're good to go. Now we're going to talk about the refrigerator. Now to operate this, what you do is you actually squeeze the side here to open it, just like that, and then you have all your controls right up top. Okay. Now, one thing we want you to take note of is you can actually open this from both sides. Now, what sometimes happens is somebody doesn't completely latch the door, and if you open this, the whole door will fall off. So we actually recommend you don't use this back side. We recommend you just leave it all attached like that, and then just use this side to get in and out of the fridge. It does have a nice freezer right here. It's a drawer you push down and slide out. Very nice. Put a nice bag of ice in there or something like that, and you'll have that your whole trip. We'll go ahead and open this up here. This is the restroom. Now, how you use an RV toilet is a little bit different than you would use at your house. It has a foot flush pedal right there. Now, to operate an RV toilet, what you do first is you push halfway down on that. It's actually going to fill the bowl up with some water. Then you'll go ahead and handle all your business, and then when you're done, you'll push that foot pedal one more time, and it'll go ahead and drain the toilet bowl. Now, just remember that the only thing that goes down an RV toilet is RV toilet paper. No wipes, no female feminine products, nothing like that at all. You don't want to clog up the toilet. Make sure your kids are flushing it with enough water. We're going to talk about the GFCI outlet right here. Now, if you're having an electrical issue and some of the outlets aren't working, we always recommend you check the GFCI outlet first. You can push the reset button, and that should reset any outlets that might not be working. We're going to talk about the hot water heater. This is kind of like an Insta-Hot hot water heater. Now, to operate this, you're actually going to push the red button first, and then you have the arrows on the right side. You push those up and down to control the temperature. Now, once that's set and you turn on the water, it'll begin to heat the water. It does take about 60 seconds to get the water hot in the shower. Like I said, you do want to set that temperature. I usually like the hot water around 105, but you can set your own temperature. We're going to talk about how to use the shower now. Once you've set your temperature on the hot water heater, you're going to use the shower here. Now the top handle actually cycles through each of the modes on the shower, each nozzle, each sprayer. So you can control each one just by turning that left or right. And then the bottom one is actually how you turn the water on and control temperature. So you actually pull it towards you and lift up, and that'll turn it on. And then you can twist it left or right to control the temperature. Now, what you want to do is make sure, what I like to do is set my temperature at like 105, and then I just turn the hot water on all the way. Your temperature should stay constant, and you shouldn't need to operate the hand valve because you've already set your temperature. So it's really nice. This RV is great. You guys are going to love it. We can't wait to see you And then if you have any additional questions, we can go over those later. We can't wait to see you, and we'll see you soon.